You're watching a More Beautiful World podcast with Susan Renee, a channel for those of you with open minds and courageous hearts who are looking for guidance on your trauma healing and personal transformation journeys. Here, I share with you the powers of intentional plant medicine use, along with other holistic therapies and spiritual guidance to guide you on your path forward. I'm so eager to share with you what I've learned in working with these sacred plant medicines on my own journey, including the knowing that what we do to heal ourselves, we do to heal the whole collective. Join me as I share my experiences, knowledge, and wisdom to guide your trauma healing so you can transform your life, and so that together we can create the more beautiful world we all know is possible. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of A More Beautiful World. In this episode, I'm going to explore presence and how it is a key piece to creating balance in your life. This connection of presence to creating balance in life came in during this episode creation, which was fascinating to explore and watch unfold. Many of you out there are here because you have suffered from trauma and its symptoms and are now working on healing, recovery, and your own personal transformation. And one thing that shows up so often in this transformation journey is feeling unworthy or not good enough. That underlying belief we have and hold on to leads us to too much doing. And that creates severe imbalances in our lives. Fear not, though, because there is a solution, and that solution is presence. I'll be exploring in this episode just how we can use presence and invite it into our life to create more balance, and how presence itself can benefit our transformation journey. So if you are eager to explore how you can create more balance in your life through the power of presence, then this episode is for you. A quick ask before we dive into this episode: if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any other podcast platform, please drop in a rating or a review for me. I would love to know what you think of this podcast, and your support and your rating help me to get these messages out into the world. And make sure you follow the pod while you're there too. And if you are watching this episode on YouTube, remember to like this video, subscribe for more, and drop in a comment about what you think of this episode. This episode's creation was a unique journey for me. I started off the creation of this episode really eager to talk about balance, and more so how we can balance our schedule and our calendar, to really optimize our life. And then I started to realize some other things about balances and imbalances. And I came to the realization of this key piece to creating balance in our life, which is presence. So let me take you on the journey of this episode's creation to get started. And then we'll go into why presence is a key in creating balance in our life. And of course, how we can invite more presence into our life to create more balance. These last several weeks, I've come to fully realize how I fuel my own worthiness and my own lovableness, my own enoughness from being productive, being hyper-productive. And this leads to a lot of imbalance in my life. I've really started to recognize it. And I always feel like I have to be doing, like I have to get these 22 tasks done. I got to make sure I accomplish A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And as soon as I'm done with A, I need to do B, and then I need to do C. And it's created this constant, again, need for doing. So as I sat with that and started to explore, I do have a history of anxiety. And while I mostly manage it quite well, I get triggered. sometimes, just like we all do. Any of us on the transformation journey, when we have history of trauma and addiction, triggers are going to happen. And so it flares in my own life from time to time. And I know it is the anxiety and the push of cortisol through my system that takes me off course. And I channel this anxiety into really doing things to avoid the underlying feeling that's creating the anxiety. And as I began to explore and get curious about what are these underlying feelings, it comes back to feeling like I'm not enough, like I'm not worthy enough. So I must do more, right? So, this cycle of feeling like I'm not enough, feeling anxious about it, and then doing things to avoid that feeling, it is a vicious cycle. And when this cycle is activated, I can see it. I create a lot of imbalance in my life. And when this cycle rears its ugly head, I end up feeling imbalanced in ways of feeling emotionally charged up or physically exhausted or even spiritually depleted. So, as I've had a few of those days recently where this cycle has reared its ugly head and the doing has really been spiked, I have started to get curious with myself as to what is the answer to letting go of this crazy need to be productive all of the time. This little cycle of insanity that I have created. And I'm getting curious and exploring how can I let go of this constant need to be doing so much just to feel like I'm worthy or like I'm enough. And as I've started to get curious, one of the first questions I asked was, am I the only one experiencing this craziness? Well, as I've been visiting with friends or talking to my partner, talking to my mom, talking with clients, I've noticed some patterns. And there are a lot of us actually in this same boat. A lot of us creating this excessive doing in our lives with this underlying need. And ultimately, I see a lot of imbalances in not only my life, but again, the lives of others. And there is a need for more balance in some way, shape, or form. But further, what I've noticed is that most of us almost seem to be addicted to this busyness. Maybe holding on to stories or limiting beliefs, from society that in order to be successful, in order to feel like we are enough, in order to feel worthy, we are supposed to be just crazy productive all the time and do all the things all the time. Doing, doing, doing. And I don't know about you. Maybe this resonates. Maybe it doesn't. But as I have recognized this own program, and these limiting beliefs and these stories, in myself, I've really recognized that this story isn't serving me. And if this seems to be part of your story, I'm going to guess it isn't serving you either. And I am ready to unsubscribe from this story. And I invite you, as we explore this podcast, to think if you are ready to unsubscribe to this story as well. And as I unsubscribe and work to create a new story, a new pattern, I know, which is again where this episode came from, I know there needs to be more balance created in my life. So as I fell into this episode and really started to sink into it, I explored a few things. I noticed a few things. First, again, I really wanted to create this episode really about organizing your day, organizing your day to be balanced. And I actually wrote out a full episode on that, and it just didn't feel complete. I felt like I was kind of scraping the surface. So I took it into meditation and really asked myself, okay, what does it truly mean to be balanced? So with that, I love definitions. I always love exploring definitions as the start of these podcasts. And so I looked up a definition of balance, and specifically balanced living. And a simple definition that I found: balanced living means considering all aspects of your life in relationships, in work, in fitness, and in health, and in emotional well being. Simple enough. And then when I looked into why is balanced living important? And another simple answer here: maintaining a balanced life is becoming increasingly more important for your personal health and emotional well being in our fast paced and modern world. So I sat with that a little bit. And as you think of this definition, and this benefit of balance, I feel like balance and the concept of balance can really be applied as a key solution, right, to all of our problems. And let me explain where balance might come in. I've seen it a lot historically when working on a client's, diet or nutrition. Their diet, nutrition may lack balance. They may lack balance in their physical body. In the diet sense, maybe they're taking in too many, carbohydrates. Their diet's too high in carbohydrates. There's not enough fat, not enough protein. There's imbalance in the diet. It could be in work, right? Which maybe they're just working too many hours, working too much, starting too early, finishing too late, not balancing that out with enough play, with enough rest. I've even seen it as too much physical activity, and not enough rest, and exhausting the physical body and creating imbalances because, again, too much physical activity, maybe too much going to the gym, not enough rest. So balance can be a simple yet profound answer to a lot of our issues. It reminded me as I was thinking through that. I once heard from someone, can't recall who it was, but what I heard was, to improve your life, to raise your vibration. It's very simple. Eat more plants, take in more light into your body, breathe more fresh and clean air, and laugh more. Again, very simple solutions. So with all of this busyness that we have in life, we are detracting from doing these simple answers, right? Because if you think about even those three simple things, most people aren't eating healthy. They aren't eating more plants. They aren't breathing well. They're stuck in fight or flight and they have shallow breathing all the time. And they're so serious, and so wrapped up in all of this day-to-day busyness, they aren't even laughing. But why? Again, why are we doing this? And what is really keeping us from these simple answers? Why are we so imbalanced? So again, as I was creating this episode and going through this thought process that I'm sharing with you now, that question, what's keeping us from these answers? Why are we so imbalanced? It took me to this big aha moment and how this, I guess, version 2 of this episode came to be in creation. And that is this. I believe truly that a big part of creating balance comes from us being, and specifically being present. So let me explain and let us explore this concept of being and presence to create more balance in our life and to cure all the imbalances we may have created. So I'm sure all of you out there have heard of this concept, of being versus doing, but maybe not in the traditional sense. Some of us, like even myself, have maybe had a skewed perception and understanding of what these two concepts really are, being versus doing. I always felt that being was synonymous with resting. You just be, you just sit on the couch, you just rest and meditate, right? Maybe you even sleep. And I thought doing was more synonymous with productivity or taking action. However, when you really think about it and feel into it, even if we are sleeping or enjoying a Zen meditation or sitting on the couch, we are still doing something. We technically are always doing a thing. So when we think about being, and what really is being, I feel like it connects so well into creating balance. And here's why. Because being is really about presence. And it is about being present in the moment with whatever it is you are doing. Being is when we are experiencing things directly, when we are being present in our experience right now. Our modern culture has led us to believe that doing is more important than being. And with that, most of us spend too much time in the doing mode and very little time appreciating our core experiences in the present moment. We aren't being present. We aren't being. We get so focused on doing, we're always thinking about the future, all the other things to do. You might be accomplishing one task, doing one task, and already thinking about the next task, right? You're not present in what you are doing. We aren't being. And I believe it is this disconnect from being, the disconnect from being present that is driving our excessive doing. Along with that, it is fueling the belief that we are unworthy and that we need to keep doing more and more and more in order to be enough. And again, this is the story I am choosing to unsubscribe to. And I am inviting you to do the same. As I've gone on my own personal healing and transformation journey, I have really come to believe fully that the gift of living, as I more deeply come to understand it every day, it really does come from being present in this moment. From really tapping into the joy and the magic of the now. From appreciating the complexity of our experiences in the moment. And to enjoying all of the magic, all of the beauty, all of the joy that is available to us in every now, in every single moment. So with that, if becoming present, if shifting from doing to being is going to create more balance in our life, how do we shift? How do we shift ourselves from the doing, into more being? So we can invite more balance in our lives and learn to appreciate the magnificence of the here and the now. I've come up with a few things that I've noticed I've brought into my own life that I've found personally helpful. And maybe there are other ways you can explore and get curious with how you can be more present too. And I'd love to hear from you if you think of things that are not in this list I'm about to go through. But I believe if nothing else, when we are looking to create more balance and shift from this excessive doing into more being, into more presence, I'd say if you take nothing else from this podcast and you want to create more balance in your life, really find moments and create moments to invite in some self-awareness. Find moments, create these moments to be fully in the moment, to have full awareness on what you are doing, to be present with the doing. Sometimes to invite in this presence, it can be helpful to maybe even use your 5 senses. Check in on what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're touching. But make it a priority to call yourself into the present moment more frequently and be there fully with every aspect of it that you can. Because that right there is creating opportunities for presence, which I believe truly help us to create balance in our life. And, in this self-awareness aspect, get curious, maybe even ask yourself, where or when are you present in your life? Where are the times you feel like you're fully experiencing your moments? And where or when are you not? Do you find yourself tuning out when your partner is sharing about their day? Or do you find you're most present when you are, petting your cat or your dog and you're really in the moment with them? Just start to create and find moments to invite that presence in, and maybe do a little self assessment on where or when you are or are not fully present. So if you take nothing else from this podcast, I invite you to bring in some presence in that way. But a few other things I have found recently helpful as I've worked to create this balance and to invite in more presence into my life. As always, I feel starting our day with a foundation of presence is so important. Start your day with you, connecting into yourself, in your moment, in your body, right? And I have found, my meditation practice is everything for this. When I drop into meditation in the morning and just I'm with my breath, and I be with my breath, there is so much presence that comes in. And I know it starts my day with the foundation of presence, with the awareness of presence. And even if it's just for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, of course, if you can make it longer, do it. But this morning practice can begin to train you in this presence, in this mindfulness practice. It's really what it is. So starting your day with that can be so helpful. I've noticed the days that I maybe skip meditation. I'm like, oh, I'll meditate tonight. I've got too much to do. Those are the days I spin out into that doing mode so much more easily. Though if I can start grounded, if I can start mindful, if I can start centered in the present moment, it helps so much to continue that presence as I move through the day. So a key piece that almost has gone in tandem with this to me is, really identifying what priorities exist in my life and using my priorities to organize them. So let me talk about that a little bit. At the beginning of each day, what I have started to do is I write down all the things that I'd like to do for the day. And I'm very present with this process. But what it's allowed me to do is get this stuff, all of this doing out of my head, and know I have something to direct me and organize me throughout the day, which has freed up capacity in my mind to be more present in the moment. Because as I'm, washing the dishes in the morning or starting to dive into client work, I can be with that work. I can be washing the dishes. I can be working, for a client and not worry about what's next because a list has it. It's over there on a list and I can always go back to that and it can direct me. But what this prioritization and organization has done for me is it's allowed me some space to know I can be where I am at fully. It's almost given me, I guess, the permission to be where I'm at fully because I don't have to worry about what's to come. So what I've been doing is after my meditation practice and I get really present, I check my calendar, I identify the priorities and then I write my list and organize it. And again, this has helped me so much to more freely move through the day with presence because I can let go of the worry of what's to come because I already know it's over there on a list. And once you have that list, let's say you've identified your priorities of the day, you feel organized, so you can be present. I think another area to be present with and to help with this practice is to make the choice to check in with and honor your energy. Wherever your energy may be for that day, to truly honor it. And I feel when we are present with our energy and we can check in with our energy, it really helps us to keep that balance aspect. Presence of our own energy will flow into balance because maybe we have a lot of energy that day. And so maybe it's a little easier to accomplish more. Hey, I'm still feeling pretty active and alive here. Maybe I will go, do the laundry. Oh, I'm feeling really creative. I've got some really good energy, so I am going to go and write that blog, or I am going to go paint or do that journal entry. And then maybe there are days when we're a little depleted. Hey, I was going to wash my bed sheets today, but I'm pretty tired. Maybe that's something I can move to tomorrow. I was going to go grocery shopping today to get those 5 things I really need, but I honestly can go without them until tomorrow. I'm feeling depleted. Maybe I just need to rest a little bit more. So when you can identify where your energy is at with that presence, you can choose your activities more wisely. And this automatically is going to invite more balance into your life because you're honoring your energy. You're allowing your energy to stay balanced so we don't deplete ourselves, or so we don't maybe waste excess energy when we do have it. So as you are working on presence, be present with your energy and what your needs are for that day. And allow that to help guide you, to creating this balance in your life by having presence with your energy. Now, another thing I want to mention here that I have been finding really helpful is as I'm looking to create more balance and as I've been inviting in more presence, I've been inviting in some presence at the end of the day for some self-reflection. I set the intention with my partner, David, to help me with the accountability of finding this balance for myself. And we talk pretty much every night. And it is in our nightly conversations as I'm sharing my day with him that I also do a self-assessment, and really kind of reflect, did this feel like a balanced day? Did I feel present as I moved through the day? These experiences that I had, these activities that I did, was I fully present with them? And even a little bit further, I ask sometimes, was there time for my body, mind, and soul wellness? Was there a balance of personal, activities, personal doing versus work doing, versus rest doing, right? Was there again that balance in my being? Did I have a lot of presence throughout my day? And there are days where, as I've reflected, I go, oof, I was not present. I went into my spin. I was so focused on all of the doing and doing and doing and doing and accomplishing things that it was just about accomplishing all the things and not being present with them. And more and more lately, I have been experiencing, you know what? I did feel present with what I did today. I did take some moments to pause and slow down and really drop into what I was doing. And that self-reflection, it's not that I've been shaming myself, saying, you can do better, like can't believe you did that. It's not about that. It's about, just that self-assessment of what can I do better tomorrow? And where do I still maybe have some work to do in this topic? Again, as I've been getting more present with this whole process, it really has allowed me already to see where balance is coming into my life. Because I really feel as we become more present, it allows us to see what is working and what's not. It allows us to check in with our energy and to adapt and be flexible as we move through our day. And this invites in more enjoyment as we are fully experiencing what we are engaged in. And ultimately this gets us out of this constant doing mode, and it brings us into being, into enjoying our life. So if you are looking, to create more balance in your life, I really do feel that presence is the key. Because just being present, that simple thing, it really can help us identify where we are even imbalanced and what opportunities we have to bring in more balance, to again honor our energy more. And maybe it sounds a little too simple. Maybe you're thinking, wow, my life feels so imbalanced. I don't know if it's just presence that's going to do it. So maybe you wanted a bigger answer today to creating balance in your life. Trust me, I wanted a bigger, grander answer myself. I want to know, give me the whole structure and outline to how to create my day and, all the tips and tricks to creating balance in my day. And again, I wrote all those out for you, but when I reread them, they aren't going to help. And so in this episode creation again, and all this exploration, what it all came down to is the simple answer of being more present in our lives is going to allow that balance to naturally find you in your life. So, my friends, that's it. That completes this episode on presence and the key to creating balance in your life. And I really thank you so much for allowing me to explore this concept and to go on this journey in this podcast, to really digging in and feeling through this concept with me. I hope that as we went through it, you maybe had some aha moments yourself. Maybe you've seen how there is a lack of presence in your life that is creating imbalance. Remember, if you are out there and you're feeling some of the symptoms that indicate imbalance in life, feelings of anxiety, feelings of overwhelm, you really can shift to feeling more peaceful, more calm, more joyful by inviting in presence. I truly feel the presence, even though a simple answer, it is key to balance and to creating balance in our lives. And maybe after this episode, you'll see if inviting in presence will be beneficial at creating balance in your life too. As always, if you want to go farther on this journey, on this transformation journey, and really deepen the work on your transformation process, check out my new membership, the Alchemized Collective, where I have created a sacred transformational container for all of us to do the work on our transformation journeys, of addiction recovery and trauma healing. We can do the work together. So you can email me for more information, check out the description below and sign up for a clarity call, or you can even go over to my Instagram for more details on that. Okay, tribe, let's remember this is all about making the world a more beautiful place, and that begins with you. Because even something as simple as inviting in more presence to your life is going to help you better yourself and move through your recovery and your transformation journey. And as you do that, you beautify our world. I hope you found this episode helpful, and I appreciate you being on your transformation journey with me always. And remember, if you need support on your journey as you are healing from trauma, as you are healing from addiction, make sure you grab your clarity call with me below, because I would be honored to guide you on your personal transformation journey. And that is all for today, dear tribe. Until next time, much love to you all. Hey tribe, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button below and then click subscribe so you catch future episodes. And remember, I've got lots of free resources for you to learn about the powers of intentional plant medicine use in order to support your trauma healing and personal transformation journey. So make sure you check them out in the description below and help in making this a more beautiful world for us all. Thanks again for tuning in, tribe. And until next time, much love to you all.